Now keep it clean or it's a must. The more you eat, the more you know. Heart strong, yeah, you protected. Affirmation selected. Healthy, loved and respected. Fear and greed are rejected. Your bubble big, gotta keep it safe. Them energies that's in your place. If it don't affirm it, then it get replaced. Talk pretty when you talking to me. I ain't taking shit less. Affirming power coming through me. Speaking my success. Talk pretty when you talking to me.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Symone. So today I'm gonna get into 3 types of trauma bonds. So we've heard that term kind of tossed around a little bit, you know, what's a trauma bond and what does it have to do with friendships, and you know, I'm going to get into that. So first of all, most friendships that we form are actually trauma bonds. Sorry. And they change depending on what level we are in our lives. So that's one reason why our friendships switch out. Today I'm going to get more into the different types of trauma bonds. So let's get into it. So the first type of trauma bond that we have is one of the most common type and one of the most long-lasting type of friendships, and they're childhood trauma bonds. Yeah, so a lot of your childhood friends are trauma bonds. And it's like, it's not in a negative sense like you would think. It's really not. It's more in an innocent way, but it is definitely still harmful, you know, if you're not addressing like what's going on there. Because like your childhood friends, they represent like a feeling of safety, you know. And the danger comes in with that is when you're so focused on this feeling of safety that this person and this idea of the friendship with it, you know, being based in a time when you felt, you know, safe, if that's how your childhood was, then they might not be providing that anymore. You know what I mean? They might not be providing that actual safety in reality, but like you're just like seeing them in a light that they're not really, like they're not really that, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's why I said it's not necessarily like a malicious thing, but yeah, it's like they you know, they take you back to a place when things felt safe. So just associating with that friendship can make you feel safe. Even when it's showing signs that like you really need to let it go, and like y'all done grown apart, y'all have totally different interests, y'all are totally different people, and y'all will both still like hold on to it, you know what I mean? And like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a negative thing, but if it is, like, especially if it was a really unhealthy codependent relationship, then yeah, that can cause issues if you don't address like why you hold on to it the way that you do. Having that love and companionship that they provided in that time, like, you know, that's what best friends are for, like when you're a kid. So it's just like, I don't know, you still relate that and to the relationship, even though it might not still be relevant or true. So that's like why y'all try to keep it together, is because it's like, if you feel like if y'all grow apart, then it's like you're losing a piece of a safe haven, or you're losing like, you know, like a piece of yourself that's important, that's like rooted in your safety and rooted in nostalgia, basically. So that is one type of friendship that is usually a trauma bond. Childhood friendships. Sorry, not to say you need to cut them off, you know. I mean, like I said, if it's like a codependent type of thing and y'all just don't want to let it go, even though all the signs are there, like if you feel like, oh, I have somebody that has seen me inside and out, and like they've seen me grow and they know me better than anybody, that's a toxic relationship, you know. Like you shouldn't stay in something just because somebody has seen your faults. Like, you know what I mean? it's like you have to check like what comes into that as far as that codependency and the self-worth, and like wanting to hold on to that because it like, you know, gives you some validation that somebody loves you despite like all the crazy crap that you've done. But your past doesn't define you, and just because they were there for all of that doesn't mean that like you have to hold on to that like you owe them your growth. You know what I mean? Because in situations like that, if you know that somebody's just gonna love your dirty draws, sometimes it's harder to grow in a situation like that, because you know, you have somebody that's always gonna have your back and always gonna love you. So yeah, just look at where it's rooted and look at like how it's affecting you as far as your own growth and your own like, you know, not to say like you need to be your own best friend, but like, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying drop your friends or whatever, but yeah, it just look at where they're rooted. So that's type 1. And I just noticed that these actually kind of go along with like your path in life in certain stages in your life. So yeah, so this one is about the vice trauma bond friends. So these friends are the ones that you have bad habits in common with. So y'all might party together, you know, drink together, chief together, smoke together, whatever. These are also friends that you can like, y'all kind of like sit in y'all's depression together and just kind of blah on the world together, like, you know, and it feels good to dump on each other like that, you know. But those are vice trauma bond friends. So yeah, these people, you can end up being friends with these people for a long time. These are usually the ones that you start to make friends with like when you're anywhere from like preteen, teenager, young adult. And they're the, you know, like I said, they're the ones that aren't necessarily your childhood friends, but it could be them too. They could turn into vice friends. Sometimes they do, but you know, like, I don't know about y'all, but like my childhood best friend wasn't the same person as like my like teenage best friend, even though we all ended up being friends together. But anyway, yeah, it's, you know, they were different stages. But and it's kind of similar with, like I was talking about, like your childhood friend being like that. Oh, they're gonna love my dirty draws because they've seen everything that I've been through and how I've grown. Your vice friends are almost even more like deeper in that sense, because they literally have seen you at your lowest, because, you know, y'all have done some crappy kind of stuff together. So it's like they've seen you at your lowest, but you both didn't judge each other for your destructive behavior. So like that can be dangerous, because y'all are just like being destructive together and y'all are egging each other on. Like that's one of the most dangerous types of friendships that you can get in. And I mean, most people go through it a few times, and a lot of times people will get stuck in it for years. The good thing about those, they're the ones that go first when you decide to like level up and do better for yourself in life, because you don't really have anything to bond with other than the vices or the pain or the sadness or whatever it may be that y'all were bonding over. So, you know, if you decide that you don't want to party anymore and you want to focus more on studying, then, you know, they might even like be mad. Honestly, those are the ones that'll like kind of be upset if like they see that you're trying to grow, and they'll get like, you know, they can get irate. Like they can really get upset because they're just like, oh my God, you're trying to like leave me here and leave me down in the dumps or whatever. And it's just like, no, bro, like I'm trying to do better for myself. But they don't really see like y'all as separate like that when it's like y'all are in it together. You know what I mean? And maybe it's because it's not you as individuals that are connecting, but it's the vice that y'all are connecting in. So when you're not in that space anymore, then that's why they're the first ones to go, like when you decide to better yourself, because you're like, I'm not that anymore. You don't resonate with it anymore. So it's like maybe that's what y'all had in common, was not the fact that y'all were different people coming together, but the fact that y'all had something in common, and that's what y'all are existing in together. So yeah. That's what I'm saying. These ones are a little bit more detrimental as opposed to the first type, like the friendship ones, because like I'm saying, like those ones, like those can be like, of course, lifetime bonds, things like that, like, you know, sister, like family bonds is the stuff that you can form with your childhood friends. But your vice friends are almost always going to be toxic. They're almost always going to be toxic. And the third and final one that I'm going to get into is kind of similar to the vice trauma bond friends, but it's just a little bit different, because like its basis is seemingly positive. So let's get into that. Whew. Now this one's going to come as a shock, because these are the friends that come, okay, you know, boom, you got your childhood friends first. Boom, you get your vice friends, and you figure out you don't want any parts of all of the toxicity that can come with all of that. Then you're like, all right, boom, I've shed all of that, you know, shed all the dead weight, you know, and now I'm gonna make me some new friends. I'm gonna meet some new friends. Before you find your tribe, you're gonna go through a couple of rounds of what I call feel good friends. And they do feel good. They do. Because you really feel like, damn, like they boost your ego, they boost your confidence. Like, and it's not even to say all of it is superficial, like just to say like, you know, ego, like boom, boom, like yeah, like that type of shit. But there's deeper stuff that goes on with it too. But yeah, it's pretty much just for your ego. Like you try to get a little bit deeper with it over time, and then you notice that like it doesn't break past this like really materialistic and superficial surface. These are the friends that you boast and brag with, you know. These are the ones that you can tell your accomplishments to, but they're not the ones that you necessarily feel are like happy for you. So it's more of like a competition based thing, you know what I mean? Because then they'll come back with a one up on like, well I did this, and it's just like, okay, good for you. And y'all might even do like little sarcastic jabs and stuff at each other, but that's like the main basis of the friendship, is like, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, we're literally competing against each other, but it's still just like, look at what I'm doing in the world, look at what I'm doing in the world, and look at, you know, this and this that I did. And it's just very, very boasty and braggy, you know. These type of friends usually are not actually happy for you. The things that you do and the things that you accomplish, like, more so make them, I'm not necessarily going to say envious. That can definitely be the case, because this can turn toxic very, very easily. But it'll just be like, instead of genuinely being like, dang, like my friend did something that was dope, they'll be like, dang, now I feel like I need to do something. I'm trying to one up, or I can't let them pass me, or you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. It's just like a competition based friendship. It's always got those like you can't really like let your guard down and be real with them type of vibe about it. You never share your setbacks with these people, because like it's seen as failure. And that's like, it's an unspoken tension that ends up like existing between y'all. It's like I'm saying, you can't let your guard down and be real, and you know what I mean? Just like tell them what's bothering you, what you're going through. Like they're not the type of friend that's going to help you like work stuff out or nothing like that. They're just the type of friend that you literally just, you know, boast and brag, is that type of thing. So like I said, feel good friends. That's pretty much what it comes down to with that, is you just, you know, it's very superficial. Then once you start to remove parts of your ego and you really start to get into your true self, and you start to tap more into your spirituality, your religion, just yourself in general, and what you actually want for your own life and not what you've been told you think you want, things like that, then like that's when you really start to get into finding your tribe and finding people that you resonate with on a soul level. And it has nothing to do with materials. It has nothing to do with like status or race or age, ethnicity, like anything. It doesn't have anything to do with that. You'll just start to find your soul tribe. So that's the fourth type of friend, I would say, but they're not in this list because these are trauma bonds. Ooh, that might be a topic all by itself, because there are things that need to be unpacked as far as toxicity, codependency, the feel good friends, all of that, as far as when you start to navigate trying to find your tribe, and you navigate like getting into that spiritual space, because it is a very vulnerable space. So that's a different type of level of friendship than the ones that I just mentioned, because those are just all very 3D based trauma bond friendships. But yeah, I'm gonna get into that in a different video, because there's a lot to unpack with that. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. That's basically it. Those are the 3 types of trauma bond friendships that can kind of go under the radar, because they don't fit the typical definition of what you would think a trauma bond is, but they definitely are. So reassess some stuff, just sit down with yourself, think about like how your relationships are, and where you're placed in them, and what your roles are. And yes, the friends that we choose are like a reflection of us. So the people that are a reflection at one time, like once that mirror gets shattered and you don't see yourself in that light anymore, then you will not be able to resonate with them. So yeah, that is basically what I wanted to get into today. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like, and subscribe if you want to see more spiritual chit chats and topics and things like this. I'll definitely have more of them coming. So I'm getting better at posting a little bit more regularly. I'm trying to implement some things for productivity. Yes. But yeah. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye.